Okay, on this video, I'm gonna do a rant on something that's a bit personal, a bit painful for me to talk about. Now, in youth, I was fortunate enough to have a best friend, but lately we had a falling out, and I don't see him so much. I won't use any real names, but this best friend's name is JW. JW is not from Canada. He's actually from, the British Empire. His family immigrated from England. He's the middle brother of a family of 5 brothers, and JW is one of the manliest pricks you'll ever meet. He's probably never lost a fight in his entire life. But he was a great friend as a kid, He was a great friend, and me and him hung out a lot as kids, had a lot of adventures together. We had a bit of a falling out. I won't be seeing the guy as much, but the guy was hilarious. Him and his brothers are hilarious. I remember how me and him became friends. It's grade 5, it's my first year in a regular classroom, and I was scared I wasn't going to make any friends, But I made friends that year, but one guy I barely took any notice of was JW, a strong, silent guy. I didn't take much notice of him. But at the end of the year, there's a class trip to an amusement park in Quebec called Lerone. And, on the class trip, it's an amusement park with water slides and roller coasters. And, there's this roller coaster called the Boomerang. There's a roller coaster called the Boomerang. It was a white contraption, a really scary roller coaster for a young man to go on. I get onto the Boomerang. Sitting beside me is this other student, JW, who I haven't talked to once. And all our grade school peers are too scared to go on the roller coaster. And we get on the roller coaster, rockets through the 3 loops, forwards and backwards, and we both disembark the roller coaster triumphantly. And I tell our grade school peers they're chickens, and then JW tells them a bullshit story tall tale. He says that the, restraints on the roller coaster were defective, and we were almost thrown to our death, and after that roller coaster ride, just how dangerous and life-threatening it was got to be more bullshit every time we told it. After that, me and JW were pretty much best friends as kids, JW is a great guy. As a kid, I was sort of a nerd into comic books, I would climb trees, but and play outside a lot, but I like comic books, I like video games. JW was not a nerd, okay? Because of that guy, I did a lot of car work, helped a lot of household repair, and, that was JW. Does a lot of car work, is a do-it-yourself handyman, and because of that guy, I did a lot of car work as a kid. I remember after we both dropped out of high school, he buys an RX-7 from his oldest brother, Chazzy. An RX-7 is a sports car, and he had to fix it up so he could drive it, and, the RX-7 had a defective rotary engine and transmission, so one time in the dead of winter, me and him had to put a new transmission into the RX-7. And we spent 5 hours under the RX-7 on a sheet of ice, and the RX-7 only had 5 inches of ground clearance, trying to position this transmission into place. After 5 hours of it was impossible to get in there, but we finally succeeded, and, then he gets the RX-7 on the road, and that summer, you know, the first time he got it onto the road, the first month he didn't have much money. So, police, if you're listening to this, you know, statute of limitations, okay? You can't convict me anymore. I'm living in Greenfield. He comes over in the RX-7 and he's like, listen, I want to drive the RX-7, but I don't have any money for gas. So me and him are running around the county I live in called, you know, Glengarry in the RX-7, which barely has any gas in it. And we start siphoning gas from, you know, other cars to keep the RX-7 roadworthy. And it was a lot of fun. And like I said, statute of limitations, Fuzz, you can't get me. So we're siphoning gas. We go to this little town there in Glengarry called Maxville, and there's a car dealership. That was the mother lode. We got all the gas. We siphoned all the gasoline we would ever need at that car dealership. Like JW, times we had as a kid were hilarious. Like I remember this one time in grade 8, these brothers or family owned this piece of rural property called the farm. And the farm is not a land of cornfields or fields of wavering stalks of wheat. It's a harsh wilderness with, you know, very impassable terrain, but you know, the farm's great. But I remember one, you know, autumn. Me and JW in grade 8 go to the farm to a stove, you know, to a little cabin near this river on the farm, you know, and it's autumn and it's about to be winter and we're both freezing our nuts off and we need to start a fire in the stove in this cabin. So we get some kindling, we get some wood, we try to start a fire, but we're not having much luck. So what we do is, well, fortunately, we had a lot of petrol and diesel fuel, you know, so what we do is we load up the stove full of kindling, wood, you know, petrol and diesel fuel, expecting we'll soon have a warm fire, warming us both. We put the fuel into the stove, expecting a soothing fire. Instead of a soothing fire, the stove exploded, and I'm not overstating what happened. The stove exploded in our faces, knocking us both on our ass. The stove's top is ripped right off. The grates rocket through the air and hit the ceiling, and, you know, and we didn't get a warming fire, but we destroyed the stove, you know, and that's the kind of times we had as a kid, you know. Like I got a nickname from the Windsor brothers, this guy's family. The nickname was Die Hard, and the reason for that nickname was I have done a lot of stuff in my life where I should have been seriously hurt or even killed. Every time I escape without so much as a scratch. That's why I got the nickname Die Hard from these brothers. That's the times we had. I had the nickname Die Hard because, like I said, I've done a lot of stuff where I should have been seriously hurt or even killed, and every time I escaped, every time was out so much as a scratch. That's why I got the nickname Die Hard from these brothers. One time after I went a couple of days without sleep and I got into an argument with JW about some stupid thing, you know, then these brothers gave me the nickname Mad Mardigan. Like, that's the time I've had with these brothers and JW. There's a lot of good times, but, you know, we had a bit of a falling out lately, so I guess this video's about closure. I won't be seeing him as much, but... Oh, the guy's married now. He got married to this girl, Rachel, and it's good he got married. The guy's probably going to be a really good husband and father, at least from what I've seen, you know. And... well, the thing is, Rachel never liked me. She treats me with about as much warmth as snow treats the ground with. You know, Rachel doesn't like me, but me and JW are friends. I remember at their wedding, and oh, JW, you know what he does? He has an expensive wedding, then he gets all his wedding guests to pay $100 to him at the wedding as a wedding gift to pay for the wedding. And, you know, I'm at the wedding, and I'm not having a lot of fun. I'm happy for a friend. I'm just like, this is stuff I'll never know. I'll never have a wedding like this. I'll never know any of this. I just want out of there. Good luck to them. And I get up and I tell JW and Rachel, listen, great wedding, but I think I'm going to go home, guys, so happy nuptials. Then Rachel, who's never liked me, you know, hugs me all of a sudden, and look at her face is going, I don't want you here either. You know, that made her day. I'm kind of like, with his girlfriends, I've always been the third wheel. They never want me around. This other girl, Martine, she was really nice to me, you know, but I remember one time hanging out him and her in JW's apartment, and, you know, once again, the second only hug I've ever gotten from a woman in my life that wasn't family was Martine, and we're hanging out at their place, and, you know, then I go, listen, guys, great having me over, but I suspect you don't want me around, so I'm going to go home. So Martine hugs me, and she smiles. She's like, I don't want you here either. You're a third wheel. But those are about the only two hugs I've ever gotten from a woman in life. But, oh, God, I remember this one time with JW. What happens is one of my grandfathers died, and he owned a country estate in this little town I grew up in called Greenfield, and what happens is he had a lot of farming machinery. The guy had a metal lathe, and he built a lot of farming machinery to help him out with, you know, work on his property, you know, and after he died, my grandmother paid me and JW to use a Bronco to haul all this machinery to the dump, you know, and well, I remember this one time. You know, we're hauling this piece of tractor machinery built that had a pivot in the middle, this large iron contraption. So he's towing it, Martin's, you know, in the driver's seat of this Bronco, towing this piece of tractor machinery. But before we leave, I go to JW, hey, listen, how do we make it like Teen Wolf? I'll ride on the piece of tractor, I'll surf on the piece of tractor machinery, like in Teen Wolf, as you haul it with the Bronco. JW, this wave is mine. So what happens is he's hauling the piece of tractor machinery with the pivot, and I'm surfing on top of it. And well, what happens is, well, he starts going too fast because in the pivot in the middle, it starts, you know, swaying back and forth erratically on the road, and I'm about to be, you know, thrown off all these things like doing 50 miles an hour, and I scream out to JW's in the Bronco with Martin, listen, stop the Bronco, and the guy hears me and he panics and he hits the brakes suddenly, and well, no, I had an option. Momentum was either gonna throw me off the tractor machinery into the back of the Bronco, and I would have fallen to the ground, and the tractor machinery would have crushed me to death. But I jump off, you know, the tractor machinery as it's being hauled by the Bronco, hit the pavement, you know, do a couple of barrel rolls. I'm lying on the pavement. The Bronco stops. Martin and JW get out, and he's like, oh shit, man, are you hurt? And I get up and I want to walk it off. I'm like, oh, I got a little bit of road rash, man. Sorry. I'll be okay. And Martin's like, oh, you can have my seat. I'm like, no, miss. I just want to walk this off, okay? I might do another video about this, but like I said, it's a bit sad for me to talk about. We had a bit of a falling out, but the guy's a good guy. You know, he's a husband and father now. Now he's living at the farm, and well, good luck to him, and wouldn't change those times I had as a kid with him for anything in the world. Okay, I'm out.